Welcome to Shoes Off Talk.
Woo woo!
Yes, sir. All right. How you doing over there, Christy?
I'm doing amazing. How are you doing, Floyd?
I'm doing awesome. Like
glad to
awesome sauce.
Awesome sauce. You are the sauce. The
Hey,
awesome
there it
sauce.
is. All right. No, but yeah. Yes, we are missing Tim today. Tim is under the weather right now. Speedy recoveries for him. And let's get this going. Man, I was so excited. I was like, man, when Christy picked the topic on today.
Oh, we're gonna
The
go with that
power
topic? I
of the
wasn't sure.
mind.
I wasn't sure if
Yes.
that's what we were going with.
You
I
know,
suggested it.
yes. And I was like, we're gonna go with that. We're gonna go
Okay.
with that. And I was like, okay, yes, the power of the mind.
Yes.
I started to focus on that too.
Mm.
I was like, man. And I literally was starting to sit, I was in my break room,
Okay.
right? And I was sitting there and I was like, start asking folks, I was like, when I say the power of the mind, go.
What'd you get? Did you get some good
Oh
stuff?
my God. You know, Chrissy, I got like stories.
Oh.
I mean, you know how people, you know how you say something and then they'll say, well, I guess, well, I don't know. What about, uh, well, I'm thinking, but what about thoughts? What about, stuff like that, right?
Yes.
But I didn't get that. I got actual stories,
Mm.
things that happened in these people's lives
I love
that
that.
came when I said the power of the mind, and they started to tell me little situations that happened to them in their lives.
Mm.
So I was like, oh my gosh.
Okay, I'm gonna
See?
need you to elaborate, Floyd. You need to
See?
tell some of these stories.
It was more so of okay. One of my coworkers was talking about how she had a situation with her nephew, and how his mind was really acting negative with him, and everything that he was doing, acting upon, you know, it was like they didn't know how to diagnose him, they didn't know how to bring it across. And so when he would literally tell people what he's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, he had told his grandmother, which was her mom, he was like saying that, I'm gonna go and burn my clothes, and then I'm gonna walk out and leave. Literally, uh, her mom went in the room while she was smelling some smoke. Went in the room, and there was literally clothes burning in the room.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my gosh. It was just like more so of things just happening
Mm-hmm.
because of that mind,
The mind is
you
so
know?
powerful.
And I was like, and that right there told me, I was like, how the mind, the thoughts that we perceive in our minds is so powerful that it actually make choices for us.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's like we're vulnerable to the mind, that negative part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of
That's why yoga and meditation really help to train that mind, to rewire those thoughts, because we're all programmed to those negative thoughts and sometimes we let them take over.
Mhm.
So, training ourselves to rewire those thoughts is powerful. It's so powerful.
man, see that's
Yes. So, can I tell a little story?
yes.
Because you know that my mother was in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel the need to share some stories about my amazing mother.
Okay, awesome.
My mother is an incredible, magical human being.
Mm-hmm.
She was born with a defective um, bile duct, what they call a tortuous bile duct. To this day, she is the only person alive with this defect. Do you know, have you seen that movie, The Poltergeist, with the kid looking at the TV screen? She died at a very young age. It's what she died from.
Oh.
So my mother was told she would not live very long. She would never have kids. Um, Here's my sister and I. We're born. We're proof that don't always listen to doctors. Um, Not only did she beat those odds, my mother is an expert at beating odds.
Mm.
When she's told that she can't do something or nothing will ever happen, she beats those odds. And it really just makes me think of the power of the mind. Not only has she lived her entire life with this, when she's the only person alive with this, she's had children. Yes, she was a sickly child. 35 years ago, she collapsed on a movie set. I was 10 years old at the time, and she had gone septic. They rushed her to the hospital in the to the emergency room in the ambulance, unconscious. She had gone septic. She had a liver that was full of stones and inflamed. Her gallbladder was full of stones and in danger. Her kidneys, she had what is it called, chronic pancreatitis. Her body basically just stopped working, and there was doctors. She was at UCLA, and there was doctors from all over that came to see her because they had never seen anything like this before and tried to discuss, what are we going to do for her, how are we going to fix this. A group of experts in the room talking about her as if she was dead already. She's not going to make it. Let's try an experimental surgery where we take half of her liver, take her gallstone out, take her gallstone out, take her bile duct out. We'll attach what's left, see what happens. There's a huge percentage chance that she's not going to make it. They told my grandmother that as well. I remember this like it was yesterday, because you tell a 10-year-old that your mother's not going to survive. She's going to go to an experimental surgery, but most likely not going to survive. That makes an impact.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I remember that. My mother, they thought, couldn't hear because she was unconscious. She heard everything, the way they were talking about her. She didn't want to be used as a guinea pig, which is exactly what they were doing. They were using her as a guinea pig.
Right.
And so when she came to, she escaped the hospital in her hospital gown, flagged a taxi down. Remember when they had those taxis?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was a thing, children.
Right.
The yellow cab.
You yell out there and be like, hey, over here.
No Ubers, no lifts. It was the yellow taxi cab. And I remember, because I'm crying, it's during a heat wave and I have a sunburn, and back then my grandparents didn't have, in California, we didn't have AC units. Mm-hmm. We just would open up the windows. Well, during a heat wave, it's hot. Yeah. I'm sweating, I'm crying. I just found out, was told my mom's gonna die. She shows up at the door telling my mom to pay my grandma to pay the cab. And my grandma's mad at her, yelling at her in the hospital gown, you need to get back there. And she said, no, Mom, I was already dead. I was going to die if I stayed there. Right. I'm not going to do it. 35 years later, she's still alive. Mm. She didn't do any surgery. She's lived with this. She's decided to live a holistic life and learn how to clean herself out naturally. Wow. Now, the reason I tell you this is because she's very proud of herself in this point. After 35 years, she has stayed away from doctors like the plague. She can't stand them. And unless they're holistic, she does not see doctors. Right. Well, she has a lot of friends who have had issues recently. They're age-related issues. And one of her friends thought she just had a cold, wanted to get some medicine to travel to see her kids. Found out it wasn't a cold. She was actually having a heart attack, the pressure in the chest she was having. My mom's having some shortness of breath. We convince her, just go to the emergency room to have an EKG, make sure you're not having a heart attack. If it's not a heart attack, they'll send you home. Well, the EKG came out fine, no heart attack, but from other things that they did, they were alarmed and admitted her. They're very alarmed by this bile duct. What is that? We've never seen anything like this before. She's like, oh, I've known about it. I was born with it. They're like, what? You've known about this? You're alive? And she said, yeah, I know about that. What they were amazed of all the CT scans and stuff that they did is that her liver and her gallbladder completely healthy, no stones. The liver has regenerated, and both of those are healthy. Now that's natural stuff that she did. She never had surgery on that. She never had those stones removed, and she worked hard on cleaning those out and getting those healthy, and it worked. Wow. So that's good. She was very proud of that. Mm-hmm. Now the concern is they found now if you have a cyst that is more, or a growth that is more than 3 millimeters, it's concern for cancer. Okay. They found a 14 millimeter growth on her pancreas. Oh. They wanted to do a biopsy. Mm-hmm. She would not allow them to. Of course, a lot of family members are upset about that. Why aren't you getting the help that you need? She says, if I find out it's cancer, even if it's cancer, I'm not going to do the protocol. I'm not going to do it. So why? Why get the biopsy and chance them puncturing something and something going terribly wrong, because that's how her mother passed away. So there's a lot of trauma with that. My grandmother went in for a simple biopsy, out procedure. She was supposed to be out the same day and never came out. So my mom, as soon as she heard biopsy, freaked out. She's like, nope, not going to do it. I don't care. I don't care what you tell me. I'm not doing the protocol. Now, her and I both left the hospital feeling grateful, feeling positive, and feeling hopeful that not only because of this, learning about this, what she has, that both of us are now going to go deeper into that rabbit hole of holistic health, to not only find things to help her, but things that will potentially help other people. Awesome. And yes. I mean, I can give you all the tools in the world, but unless you're ready to take those tools out and use them, it's not going to do any good. Exactly. Right? But what it made me think of is the studies that they've done. They actually did this study on people who find out that they have cancer. And this can be any different kinds of cancers, where they give you just a couple weeks to live to years to live. When you first get that diagnosis, how is your attitude towards it? And the people that came out being grateful for the cancer and having a positive attitude were those that would beat it. They had the highest chance of recovering from cancer. Right. Now, what does that tell you? You change your mind. You're grateful. You hear the story after story. People that say, it saved my life. I spent time at home focusing instead on work. I focused on my family. I focused on my health. It was the biggest blessing ever. Those are the people that beat cancer. Mm-hmm. So when I'm looking at my mom and we're both so grateful, it's just not me. If it was just me, I would maybe worry. But my mom had this smile on her face, and she's so full of gratitude. And she goes, Chris, I know I'm going to be okay. And I was like, I know you are too, Mom. We're going to find out what we need to do to help you. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I know. And we're going to find things that will help others too. And I said, yes, we are. We're going to do that. It's this positive mind that she's had her entire life that made her live until the age she is, when she should not even be alive right now.
Christy, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's just so, it amazes me. Well, one side, it amazes me, and the other side just tells me, when you actually use that mind the right way, then you can accomplish so many things. Right. You can discover a whole lot, not just about you, but about everything around you. Right. Mm-hmm. I'm like, man, see, thank you for sharing that, man.
Yes, of course. Yes. It's like I have a challenge for you, Floyd, for everyone listening. A challenge, and this might, push a lot of buttons, but the challenge is to go into every situation feeling blessed for whatever situation you're in. And I mean the darkest of times. I want to see, can you be grateful in the middle of the harshest storm you've ever been in? Can you find a positive mind and have gratitude for that?
I love it. Yes.
That's my challenge.
Well, that challenge has been accepted because I'm going through that now. So
Love it.
and just like you said, just going into that challenge, just feeling blessed and it's just being positive about it. And that's what I'm doing actually. I am actually going through that now. So and it's all good because I know I'm gonna conquer at the end of the
Yes.
tunnel. So it's gonna be great. So hey,
I love
it's all
that.
good. It's all good.
I love
Man,
that.
woo, I'm loving it.
Yes.
Yeah, so what? So mom's is good.
Mom's is doing great. Yes, we're getting her on the right track. We're both learning and growing, which is what life is all about. She's staying very positive, and she's focused on her health.
Okay.
Sometimes we can veer off, which
Oh yeah.
She was super focused on her health for a long time, and then we kind of slide, and so she's now back focused on her health, and that is a beautiful thing.
Man, that's
So
awesome.
mm-hmm.
Because our thoughts, you know, our thoughts can lead us to so many directions. Goes this way, go that way, all over the road. And you be like thinking, okay, this is a whole map, this is a country, because that's how our thoughts are, just right. All over the place, right? When I was thinking about it, and I was like, wow, how crazy it is that when I won't say it that way, but if you have a problem, a mental health problem, your thoughts can play a big role in that.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
And
That when you are around others, sometimes your thoughts aren't even your own. Have you ever been around someone where you're just like, all of a sudden you feel drained and you're having these negative thoughts and emotions? That's because energy is contagious. Yeah. So you can feel that. Certain people you're energized around and you feel amazing, and other people, like they almost suck the energy out of you. So sometimes you have to realize that if you're feeling a certain way, it might not even be your own feelings. It might not even be your own thoughts. And you have to fight those thoughts. That's not mine. Or laugh at it. What are you trying to tell me, brain? I'm not listening to you. I'm better than that. You have to rewire your brain to know that I'm not going to cave in to those feelings and thoughts because I want better for myself and I know those are not mine.
You know how important our thoughts are, and how far, when we think about certain things, how far we can go. Okay, how far it's like you're planning to uh, do a career, do a business. Okay, and so your business, your thoughts, you're planning, you're making things happen, you're doing all these things. Why? Because you're sitting down, you're making plans for it to happen. See, so basically, when we do that with our thoughts is the same way. You're planning, you're thinking, but the thing is that you're thinking about things that's going to elevate you.
Yes.
You're thinking about, if you're a book writer, you're thinking about certain things, what you're going to do, your bullet points, your chapters, your whole draft, your whole, putting it all together, making that happen. But then on the flip side of that, you want to make another book of what you're doing at that point in time as well. See, so all that other stuff that's going on, you want to make that happen too. So you got that one, and then you have another one on that one.
Yes, so, and I love the fact that you mentioned that writing things down, Floyd. I've never been one to write thoughts or journal, and since I started yoga, they always talk about journal your feelings. I'm like, I don't want to journal my feelings. I don't want to look back and even see these feelings. So I've never been a journaler or someone who writes things down, but knowing the power of the word, and how powerful our thoughts are, especially when you put it down on paper and you look at it, and how we're creating with our words. That's why I really have cut out a lot of music, a lot of movies that I used to watch. I cut that out because I don't even want it in my subconscious. I don't even want to think like that.
Yeah.
So it's changing those thoughts, the things I want to listen to, the things that I want to watch or see. Now it's like, I used to love scary movies. Now I like comedies. I want to laugh. I want my spirits to be lifted.
Right.
You know, instead of being in that state of fear, I don't want to create more fear in my life. So, but knowing about the writing stuff down, this is kind of like interesting. I told someone this the other day. I have this challenge of write the perfect man on paper, what you'd like in a man. I'm like, I'm not going to do that because I don't want it to come true. I don't even want it to come to me. Like, I'm not looking for that. You know, I don't, so I'm like, you know, for fun. You know, I started, I'm like, well, I'm going to make this so ridiculous. No man, I will never find this man, right? And they're like, just come up with 30 things. I'm like, 30 things? How can you come up with 30 things? That's like ridiculous. Floyd, and this is as I'm watching a movie with my mom, I came up with 65 things.
Wow.
I'm just like,
wow.
this and this
okay.
and this. I write it down and I'm like, ha! And I'm laughing about it, and I read it to my mom. She's like, huh, good luck with that. You know, we're laughing about it. I put it away. Don't look at it. It's been a year since I looked at it. Well, the power of words and thoughts and actually putting it on paper, writing it down, seeing it, now it's in your subconscious. I decided a year later to look at that list. Floyd, I'm not even joking when I say the people that I've attracted in my life, not even romantic situations, just men that I've attracted in my life. You, Tim, people that the people that I work out with and that I do activities with, those people in my life, I'm like, check. Well, I don't know that about them, but check. Like, it's that. It's what I put down of what the perfect man is. Now I'm attracting people like that in my life. It's pretty incredible. It's pretty amazing. Now I'm surrounding myself by people that feed my soul.
That's good.
So
That's good.
Yeah, so it is pretty, when you talk about writing things down, our thoughts, our words, putting it down on paper, it does something. It does. So there's another challenge. If you're looking for someone, I challenge you to write down, think about your perfect person or your perfect friendship or what you want to create in life. Write it down.
That's good.
See what happens.
That's what they call that. What do they call that? Man, back in the day when you started writing down certain things about men or women, something like that. What do they call that? Dang.
What do they call it? Manifestation? bringing things to fruition?
Well, it is that. It's that, but I forgot what it was, but it'll come to me. But man, yeah, it's a powerful thing when we actually have the mindset to do things, you know, because look at it when you're actually using your mind. Because I know sometimes we're hustling, bustling, we're running, you know, like I say, that map, you know, we're all over the place. We're just, you know, doing things, you know. We have to take time out to reset. You know, we have to reset our minds, renew your mind daily. Okay, so we get to a point that we don't have the time to, we tell ourselves we don't have the time to do anything. We don't have the time to reset. We don't have the time to go here. We don't have the time to go there.
Even though most of it only takes 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Don't have the time to do it.
Right. You know, and the thing is, what trips me out, I'm going to do a side note here. What trips me out is that we don't have the time to do anything, but we have the time to go home, sit down, turn the TV on, watch it for about 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours.
Right.
But we don't have the time to do anything else.
No self-improvement. Don't have time for self-improvement.
Right. You know.
You have time for TV.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so basically, I mean, if you really value your mind, your body, your life, I would take that time to renew that mind.
Yes, yes.
You know.
And the best thing too is if you feel yourself like in a negative state, go outside. Connect with nature. Put the phone down for 5 minutes. Take off your shoes. Touch the earth. Sit in silence. You don't even have to be trying to force yourself to think positive thoughts. Sometimes it seems impossible because those negative thoughts have come over to where you can't think positive at all. Just focus on connecting to nature. Just that alone will change.
It will.
It will change your perspective. It'll change your mood. It will change your energy field. All of that. When I sleep at night, I listen to frequencies, different frequencies, just to have that energy field around me while I sleep. I'm submerging myself in good frequencies and good energy. I like that. So there's different things, different ways, tools that you can utilize to make sure you're staying in that positive mindset and positive auric field.
You know, when it comes to the energy, I mean, after all that, you know, you know how you like talk to people and stuff like that, and then I found myself doing that, talking to people. But the thing is that if it ain't like on a certain level, if it is not on a certain level, and you just, I don't know, they talk about whatever they talk about. I found myself just walking. You know, before I
like this doesn't serve me. I'm moving on.
Pretty much, and in my mindset, I was always thinking, that's rude. Don't get up. Don't be doing that. Walk away while they're trying to talk to you and all that stuff. Say stuff to you. I know, I was always taught, don't be rude. So I just don't be rude. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? This is not serving the purpose for me. This is not. This is not. I mean, if you're not trying to go to a certain place, I don't need to be around.
If it's not feeding your soul or helping you to grow, then you have to let it go.
Yeah, you got to, because it's my because I'm like, you know what, I try to, help people where I can. I'm I'm somebody, but I'm nobody. Okay, so I help where I can. So basically, that's the type of person I am. I love to help.
You'll notice the more that you start doing that too, the more people that you attract into your life that will give the answers to that. You might be thinking about something like, I don't know how to go about doing this, and then all of a sudden someone pops up in your life and you're having a conversation. It's like, oh, whoa, that's exactly what I was thinking about. I didn't know the next step to take or what to do, and here this person just shows up in my life and is feeding that. You'll start attracting more of what you're trying to create, more people that will help with that, because we're all in each other's lives for a reason. And I feel like we interact with each other and come across each other for a reason. Either I can help you grow, you can help me grow, or we help each other grow. So we can learn. There's something to be learned from everyone. But the more we start focusing on that, like I noticed that, the more like deja vu's type of things will start happening, where I'm like, oh wow, how did this just happen? Or this is just, I was just thinking about this, or I was just thinking about that person, and then they call me. Like, it just, because we're all connected. We are. It's like the Matrix, and all of our minds are connected. That's why when you think about someone, all of a sudden they call you on the phone, and you're like, oh, I was just thinking about you. We're connected. You can think about that person and either choose to call them or not. Sometimes you're thinking about them because they're in pain and they need you. And that's why you have this urge to call them and make sure that they're okay. But we are all connected. And once you start tapping in to your inner self, you'll realize that the people that need you, the people that you can help, if you choose to be on that path to help others, and the people that can help you on your journey as well.
I speaking of calling and all that stuff, I say I joke about it, but I say yeah. I say I must not be important because nobody calls me.
Nobody calls Floyd.
Nobody calls
What?
me. They don't call me.
I have a hard time believing that.
And so I'm like, yeah, I be around people. They get phone calls. I be so jealous. I'll be like, oh my gosh, don't nobody love me.
Okay.
Okay.
We need to start calling Floyd, checking in on Floyd more.
Nah, but no. You know, this, Christy, this topic, the power of the mind. I mean, you can discuss that many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
You can discuss it for hours.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's it gets to a point that once we understand the power that we have in our minds, in our physical bodies, that what we can do, our mindsets equals opportunities.
Yes.
It's so much. You can, man, if we just sit there and stop being lazy and actually get up and start thinking about certain things and doing it, you can go so far. Go far.
And there will constantly be opportunities when you start honing in on what you're trying to create and using your mind correctly instead of allowing your mind to control you. You have to control your mind.
Right.
We can become victims of our mind.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But you can also choose to control your mind and make it work for you. Right. So, like a perfect example, I told you, I think I've told you this story before. I'm sitting in my meditations, like, what is it that I want to create? What is it that I want to do? And I kept thinking to myself, share with others tools, techniques to help people through the hard times, what they're going through, different healing modalities. I want to share that. I don't know like how to go about that. I'm going to start writing a book. I'm thinking in different ways. I'm like, okay, just come to me. Whatever it is that I'm meant to do, come to me. That week, within a couple of days from each other, someone offers me a podcast. That's the other podcast I do on Mondays. 2 days later, Tim says, I want you to come on my podcast. Here I am on this podcast. Within the same week, 2 offers for podcasts. Don't tell me that's a coincidence. I've never been offered, to be involved in a podcast before. Now all of a sudden, I'm thinking, how can I share stories? How can I help others? And not 1, but 2 offers to be involved in podcasts within the same week. That goes to show the power of the mind.
Yeah, it is very powerful. Yeah. And the things that and like I'm gonna go back to this. Once you use your mind for that elevation, for that power, and start to do things that's gonna enhance your abilities, it's you're limitless. It's limitless. Yes. You're just doing it. Man, I just don't know how to put it, but it's a great thing. Great thing, and just by me just thinking about it on today, I was like, man, this is like it's inspiring. I just like, wow, how powerful our minds is when it comes, especially when it comes to choices, choosing to do certain things. I just love it. I love it. Yes. Oh, when it came to the energy, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, it threw me off because when you're talking about, when you're in the room and then the energy and all that, right? And so I'll be at work well, I'm always at work, but yeah, that's what it is. Work. But I'll be at work and so, people's energies, started feeling the energies and stuff like that, right? And so I'm like, okay, because we do have some social beings. I mean, really social beings up in there. And it's like, oh my God. It's to a point I'd be like, dial it down. Okay. But no. But yeah, it's cool because I like the energy. I like it because it keeps you up here, It keeps you high up, and it's like, man, so I like being around these people, Okay. And it's like, wow. But we do have some ones that, you'd be like, okay, you need to bring that up. way up, so match mine if you can, so come on, but
You just reminded me of my niece that will tell her mom, Mom, you're here with energy and I need you here. She's the cutest. 8 years old telling her mom that, Mom, your energy's here. It needs to be here.
Should I bring that down?
Yeah, bring it down just a tad. A little bit too high for me right now.
That's cool. But no, wow, this is like, okay. The power of the mind.
The power of the mind.
All right. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, I think we're good. I always have something to say, Floyd, but I think we've hit a lot of good points today.
Okay. But yeah, so people, the power of the mind. Just make sure that you're not only writing things down so you can just make it plain, write the vision, make it plain. But, also go and reset. You got to reset, It's good to do it daily, but if you can't, just reset as much as you can, okay? Because it's very important. Because if you reset, the choices that you make will be great, some great ones, okay? That would level you up majorly, okay? So let's let's get our minds right, make great choices, and shoes off talk. Make sure, come on, y'all. We gotta get y'all subscribe.
Like
shoes off talk. YouTube. Let's go.
Yes,
Let's go.
Vision boards, grounding, singing, anything, getting massages. Any self-care is the best care. Whatever you need to stay centered, stay positive. It's important.
Yes. Oh. Before we end this, let's talk a little bit about more of the yoga.
Okay. And you know what? There's something else I want to mention because I see a lot of people right now getting breast cancer.
Okay.
A lot of people getting breast cancer. And when they test the growths that are coming out of women's breasts, it is such a high percentage of aluminum. Women, we've learned this so long ago. Stop using deodorant with aluminum in it. Ooh. That's the main, and people think, well, I need the aluminum so I don't smell and sweat so much. I only use natural deodorant, and I make most of my own deodorant because I want to know what goes into it.
Right.
Aluminum is in most deodorants, unless you're going with a natural deodorant, and it might take you like some trying different, if you don't want to make your own, trying some different deodorants to find out what works best for you. But you do not want to keep yourself from sweating. People are like, oh, but the aluminum helps me from sweat. How do you think you release the toxins from your body, especially right here, and it's going right into your breasts? That deodorant is so important. And then I know so many people that are doing these Botox shots in their armpits so they don't sweat. How do you think your body is releasing those toxins? What do you think is going to happen to those toxins getting reabsorbed into your body, settling somewhere else? I'm so not for Botox in the armpits. And aluminum, I mean, come on. They've done studies. They've known this for a long time now. Growths in the breast have a huge amount of aluminum in them, and we are putting aluminum directly on our armpits from the deodorant. So I just wanted to mention that because I can see it's like everywhere I look, I'm like breast cancer. Right. Come on, women, stop using aluminum on your armpits. Yeah. So there's my little spiel
that was a good nugget right there, man. Okay, man. That kind of like got me. I'm like, okay, what kind of deodorant do I use?
You probably use. Look at your deodorant, and when you look at the natural deodorants, it'll say no aluminum. So that's like their main thing on the natural ones, no aluminum. A lot of other things it'll say it doesn't have in it either, but aluminum is the one that you want to make sure it does not have, and it's in all the sports deodorants. So if you wear those sports deodorants, super strong deodorants, most likely you're putting aluminum on your body. And another thing, magnesium is one of the things that keeps the smell away, because magnesium, like you ever put the magnesium salt chunks in in your bath and soak in it. It's supposed to pull out toxins.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have magnesium spray. Magnesium you can take orally. Magnesium spray for your feet that help you to sleep at night. Well, I had some of that magnesium spray. I decided one day, in most of these deodorants, natural deodorants, is magnesium. Magnesium kills the bacteria that makes you smell. It's not the sweat that makes you smell. You can have sweaty armpits, but um, it's the toxins coming out, the bacteria that comes out that smells. That magnesium kills the bacteria. Oh. So you can sweat, but you're not smelling. So I've actually tested, if I'm home and I'm not going anywhere, I'll spray some magnesium that's meant for your feet. I'll spray it on my armpits. Don't smell. I still sweat, but don't smell. I'll be like, oh, wow, I don't smell. I'm going to use some more of this magnesium when I don't have time to mix my little, coconut oil and baking soda and all that stuff. But yeah.
The healthy remedies, boy. Yeah. That's that home remedy.
Try the natural ways on your armpits rather than putting the toxic aluminum right directly on your armpits that's causing cancer.
Okay. See, all this stuff, boy, I tell you. You know what's so crazy about it? It's like years and years of life, and you just find out so much stuff now. Mm-hmm. It's like, wow.
We will never stop learning, Floyd. That's what's so amazing about life. The more that you think you know, the more you realize you don't know anything. Mm-hmm. There's so much information out there. It's incredible, and it makes me excited to learn.
Yeah, but me too. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up.
Yes.
Thank y'all for tuning in to Shoes Off Talk. And as we end all shows, love, peace and soul.